I'm not going to lie, I don't have massively high hopes for this game. I played the PC demo and it felt janky, poorly polished, unfair in places. But I'm told that there was a second demo, which somehow I missed, that massively improved some of the issues that I have. And since I get a big chunky discount on PS Plus, I thought, well, I'll get the PS5 version because I don't play a huge number of games on the PS5. Right, let's start a new game. Obviously, I've got no save data. But this is not my, well, at least from this bit, it's not my 100% first impressions because I have played the first demo. In the beginning, people thought it was just another infectious disease. It wasn't until the livestock began dying and those who had been infected began shrieking out in pain that they realised a deadly plague had befallen them. The various kingdoms tried to fend off the sickness and ghastly creatures, but their efforts were futile and despair engulfed the entire continent. Hermes' kingdom, founded atop a colossal tree, quickly rose to power due to their use of miraculous alchemical science, which was able to turn the plague into a cure. As the plague ravaged the lands, they relied on this alchemy to light the blessed flame. But where there is light, there will always be shadow. So this is us. We are Corvus. Yeah, there's nothing. Ooh, I feel like they've changed the camera sensitivity. That doesn't seem anywhere near. I mean, I know I've just changed it. Can't loop around that way. We'll see what it's like. So, administrative order. Due to the recent epidemic outbreak, Hermes' Kingdom is declaring a state of emergency. All citizens must abide by the following orders. Forbidden from going out. Essential supplies will be distributed by nights. Any sightings of plague-like symptoms or mutations must be immediately reported to be dealt with. Corpses or unclean objects must be handed over to the relevant personnel. Yes. Follow the commands and search for the cause. Maybe the default was, Right. Press right one, R1, to deal damage to the enemy and leave wounds on them. Wounds are temporary and will heal after a short period if no more damage is inflicted. When the enemy's health and wounds are both 0, they will become dazed and you can execute them with R1. The terminology is a bit weird. Oh, I don't think we've got the claw attack yet. So enemies have got 2 health bars, which I thought was a really interesting concept. You know, you have to deplete the first health bar, which is the white one, but that regens if you don't hit the enemy or kill them within a certain amount of time. And you'll see underneath it, they have a green health bar. And that green health bar does not regenerate. That is their kind of permanent death bar, I suppose. Deflect. Use L1 just before the enemy attacks. Hit to deflect it. So that's our parry move. I have played a Souls-like game or two before in my time. Paper on the ground. A deadly silence hangs over the streets and the city is completely sealed off. There's no food to be found, nor any water. Don't know whether there's a backstab or anything like that. Right, let's try deflection, because I had some issue with this in the... Oh no, it wasn't the deflection that I had issue with. It was the special feather deflection-y thing that I had issue with. Can I climb up this ladder? No. That looks like somewhere we're going to be able to break through later. There's quite a lot of motion blur. Can we turn that off? No. In fact, we've got no graphics options on the PlayStation 5. That kind of annoys me. Lock on. Yes. I'm aware of how to lock on. I'm going to keep on using the wrong button to dodge because I've just been playing the Surge 2. Key to the plaza. You are the devourer. Wield your claws. Tear apart something that you didn't give me time to read because I was voice acting. R2 to pull a claw attack. Yeah, so claw attacks are specifically good for dealing with the green portion of an enemy hitbar. Each enemy has a unique plague weapon, and Corvus can reave them. So fully charge R2, and basically it's a steal move. You steal their weapon, which again was quite a cool idea. Hi, friend. Trophy ride? Test ride. Trophy earned. Use triangle to cast a reaved plague weapon. Can only be used once. Oh. There's no auto targets. That's worth noting. This feels as relatively easy as it was before. An anonymous soldier's diary 01. The King's dagger and the grey armour. They are our last hope. They led the survivors and tried to make things right. The infected corpses were burned to purify them of the sickness. It's a very Bloodborne-y style plot, or inspired plot and setting, clearly. Ah, and that was the first enemy that I had any issues with. Beacons. Resting on a beacon will save current progress. So these are our bonfires. Little lamps on chairs. Take a break. Trophy earned. Right, we can't do any levelling up or anything yet. Now, this first enemy here was where I felt everything started to go downhill. Feathers. As lethal as iron arrows pierce their weaknesses. This was the system that just didn't work. Didn't click. When a green light appears before an enemy attack, they will perform a critical attack that can't be deflected, but you can either get out of range or use a feather to interrupt. Use L2 to throw a feather and interrupt the enemy attack just before the critical attack hits. Regenerate feathers over time. I could not get this to consistently work. Let's see. Nope, that's not going to work. Oh yes, that had a range on it. I'd forgotten about that. That's the wrong button. Okay. Memory interrupted. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's, you know, it's not even a boss, this. It's just a normal enemy. When causes health reaches 0, his memory is interrupted and converted to memory shards. So that's as currency. Right. No. Ow. Oh. Okay, so things to learn. Our claw attack doesn't just wipe out all the green. It just takes a chunk of it. That was... Uh-huh. This feels definitely more fluid than it did previously. Nice. Yeah. Definitely feels more fluid than it was previous. Just the dodging feels better. Thank God, because it felt awful previously. How did this all begin? They said that was an accident occurred on the day of the king's birthday. Previously, the plague was only spreading outside the kingdom, but after the outbreak, all have gone mad. I assume that tooltip is tied to a particular area trigger, which is why it kept flashing up there. Now, if I remember correctly, down here on the left, there was a lancer enemy who was quite tough. And up the stairs, there is a boss. A scripty boss. A boss that we're designed to die to. Yeah, here he is. Right. There's no shortcut or anything to get to him. Yeah, okay. Either they have lowered the difficulty dramatically. I've got better at the game, which is, let's be honest, unlikely because I haven't touched it in quite some time. I suppose... Paper on the ground, too. The pathway to all regions of the kingdom are either lined with monsters or blocked by soldiers. None can leave, and none can enter. I suppose they had to make sure that people could actually get through the first area, but the demo gave them, you know, something substantial to have a play with. Right. I cannot remember whether this enemy down here respawned. Saving. If he does respawn, now he doesn't. I also find it interesting that we get the option of closing the gates. I wonder if there's a reason why we'd ever want to do that. Anyway, the first proper boss is through here. You're supposed to die to him, frankly. But you can, I believe, beat him. People did in the demo. I was not one of them because in the demo, if you died, it was demo over. You didn't just go back to the save points. Uh-huh. Oh, that's a 2 hits. No. Poor timing on those deflections, Demajen. You should do better. And blat. I always thought that was particularly brutal. Philosopher's Hill. Darkness. 3 exclamation marks. Don't even get me started on how bad grammar that is. Ah, here's the tiny girl. Corvus, you're finally awake. I was worried about you. You were badly hurt. Luckily, you made it back in time. Do you remember what you did? You need the right formula to use Hermes' answer. It appears that the injury caused you to lose your memory, so perhaps it would be helpful to start with a description of what you still remember. Come back when you've got your memories in order. Until then, you can walk around. Might help jog your memory. How many more times can you use the word memory in a sentence? Well, not a sentence, in a conversation. Ooh, that's a nice... I like the lens flare. Hermes' Royal Bulletin. The families of the Knightly Order petition the king to stop sending knights to battle outside the kingdom's borders. The former chairman of the Institute for Alchemical Studies, Emerald, has officially appointed someone to take her position. Emerald said she wanted someone with even greater abilities than herself to lead the alchemical research in Hermes. The Twilight Circus, hailing from the Sea of Trees, was once again invited to perform in the royal courts. As expected, Ringmaster Uda's new performance was received with great acclaim from all who had attended. As some of you possibly know, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you, I'm a writer, an author, in fact. I have books published, and I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I am a secondary school English teacher. And one of the things that I like to talk about in video games is character and world building. And immediately there are some things in this that are really grabbing me and drawing me into the narrative. Things like the mysterious Twilight Circus and the Sea of Trees. They're really interesting proper nouns for things. And then we've got the fact that the kingdom is called Hermes, which is a Greek god, and therefore that's all I can think of. And the fact that the chairman is called Emerald, which is just a little bit kind of fantasy tropey, you know, naming people after precious stones. So I'm really torn so far. I love this idea of a kingdom built in the trees and, alchemically superior. But the fact that the kingdom itself is called Hermes feels a bit meh. And Emerald as a name is also just a little bit... It's not that it's inconsistent, particularly. It's just that it's a little bit cliche, frankly. To use famous Greek names and famous precious stones for your characters or places. It always feels a little bit off. And then we get the name of the game itself, Thymesia, which sounds Greek. So it's tying in with Hermes as the Greek god. Map menu. Corvus can recall his menus, or memories even. Corvus, of course, meaning, raven or crow. Corvus can recall his memories by visiting locations and quests in the map. More memories and locations are unlocked when Corvus starts to remember. Okay. Isami's journal. Philosopher's Hill is the royal family's sanctuary. Every fall, father would take us here. He says that on the hill he is not king, but merely a father and a friend. There is no need for formalities here, he would say. After the outbreak, domestic matters became pressing and our visits to this place grew less and less. So she is a princess, daughter of the king. Now this reminds me a little bit of Mortal Shell. Not a huge amount, just a little bit. In the exhortation of former kings, he who examines himself shall never be lost. Yeah, the vibrancy of the green is nice. I do wonder why we don't have a decent shadow. Edward the Blessed's notes. What brings me the greatest joy is coming to Philosopher's Hill with the children every year. Watching them run about, playing together never fails to help me forget the turmoil in the kingdom. Recently some strange sickness has plagued the lands beyond our borders. I must make sure our kingdom is prepared. So is Edward the Blessed the king, then? Awful lot of invisible walls, it must be said. But, quite a nice environment. Even if a lot of it is blocked off. Ah, okay, that's our map. I guess we... In the early days of the plague, the nobles banished all criminals, the poor and the sickly to a lower level of the kingdom known as the Sea of Trees. The upper rings of society living above the slum care nothing of their lives. They refer to them as the hopeless, letting them succumb to sickness and all manner of ghastly creatures. Search for the cause. Okay, so we've got a hub-based Souls experience. That's fine. It's not my favourite, but it's fine. Start recalling. Level up menu. Corvus can use memory shards to enhance his attributes. Strength increases attack and wound damage. Vitality increases health. Plague increases claw damage and maximum energy. Gain 1 talent point each time an attribute is increased up to level 25. Okay. So energy is our stamina, is it? Do we even have stamina? I can't say I noticed. Maybe we don't. Right, we've got enough for 2 levels. This has to be done with the D-pad, can't be done with the stick. Okay. Corvus can use talent points to learn new talents. Can be unlearned at any time, so experiment with different playstyles to prepare for the various challenges. Okay, that's cool. Perform fast saber attacks up to a 3-hit combo. While in the air, press R1 to perform a fast downward slash. How do we get in the air? Execution. Use the dagger to fend off the air. So basic things are unlocked. When successfully deflecting attacks, the enemy counterattack gauge is reduced. Hold L1 to enter defense mode. It looks like this is a choice. It's one or the other. When successfully deflecting or blocking attacks, some energy will be restored. Okay. Dodge. Second dodge. When successfully dodging enemy attacks, gain a stack of the offensive buff. Longer second dodge. Defensive. Oh! Makiri counter? Oh, so I wouldn't need to faff around with the feather system. I'm going to have that straight away. Okay, what do we got here? Charge forwards for the claw attack. I'm going to sneeze. 1 second, apologies. Excuse me. Long claw gives bleeding. Short claw attacks. Super armor when performing the predator's claw. Restores enemy energy even. Feather. I like how so many of them seem to be giving buffs if you do things right. Max the number of feathers. Regenerate feathers more quickly. Leave more wounds. Feather dash. Okay, so you can close in. This looks like it's got quite a lot of depth to it. Instead of throwing feathers, Corvus uses his wings to perform a melee attack. Strategies. Plague weapons, plague wounds. Second slot for plague weapons. Consume health instead of energy when you don't have enough. When taking damage, there's a 30% chance to reduce damage. Drop rates. Gain a stack of the offensive buff when health is full. Drop rates could be quite useful. Restore energy when hitting enemies with saber attacks. Also, it looks like this can scroll down further. That could be useful. Not going to see a great deal of use of that, it must be said. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, we'll have that. We'll get health back on an execute. $25 health. It seems that'll be quite useful for early game. This is an impressive environment. Yeah, because if we... Oh, hello. If we don't take damage, you know, we can keep our health reasonably stocked. Tattered Twilight Circus recruitment ad. The Twilight Circus has the following openings. No restrictions or qualifications. All able-bodied applicants welcome. Porter, 20 positions. Street vendor, 10 positions. 5 males, 5 females will be required to undergo a physical examination and perform clerical duties within the tent. Outstanding compensation. Interested parties, please contact. Contact who? Contact how? Ladder? Slightly jaunty circus music. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oof. Like that. Ah. Okay. Hand axe skill shards. Twilight Circus poster. We have returned. A brand new program made just for you, the audience, with featured acts such as Big Clown Beatorama, Dagger's Fatal Roll Call, and the highly anticipated The Grand Illusionist, Oda's mysterious finale. Every Saturday and Sunday, just at the brink of dusk, the circus tent opens for you. Mm-hmm. What can I hear? Well, we seem to have a proper twisty-bendy Souls-like map. Tree Blessed's manuscript. The exiled have created a settlement that surrounds the sacred trees. These towering deities protect us from monsters and plague. Prophets say that even just carrying the broken twig of a sacred tree can drive off the pestilence. Going down. Ooh. Twilight Circus poster. Oh, that's the same one as previous. Ah. Not really a shortcut, though, is it? Well, I suppose it is. It's very creepy music, however. Yeah, I keep pressing the button to parry way too early. Hand axe skill shards. Ah, hidden. Several days ago, some mysterious visitors arrived at the village hoping to talk with me. I never had a good feeling about the people from above. After all, they're the ones who abandoned us. But they are royal guards. I couldn't just avoid them. They asked me a lot about the circus. So, very kind of note-heavy storytelling. Which is always an interesting choice in Souls games. Excuse me? Huh? I parried that and it did nothing. Unless I misunderstood what was going on. Which is possible. Yeah, there's no actual delay there. We just keep on going. Oh yeah, you. Damn it. Damn it. Hey! Yeah, starting to get a bit of the rhythm. And it is rhythm. Souls games are all about rhythm. Ah, they can parry you. Okay. The way the dodge works is kind of annoying. There we go. Yeah, because of how the dodge kind of... It's not 8-way. It's not an omnidirectional dodge. Almost... Uh-oh. I kind of feel like that animation there, the final execution thing, should have a bit more to it than it does. Also, I didn't get to read that document. Is there a way of... I don't even know which one it was. Okay, more... Could do with an auto lock on. Oh. The delay on that axe. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Demajen worked out a thing. Well done, Demajen. Ugh. Oh. Collection of memories lost. Consumable souls. Shortcuts. We'll pretend that we didn't just see him sliding around. Hi, friend. Shit. Memory interrupted. I don't know whether that was a shortcut, actually. One thing I will say is that the location's very orange. That in and of itself isn't a problem. The places are not yet particularly memorable. Whee! Don't know if they can climb. Hi, friend. That's better. Plague weapon menu. Corvish can use skill shards obtained from fallen enemies to unlock or upgrade plague weapons. Use square to cast an equipped plague weapon. Ah, they use energy. That's why energy is important then. Because we don't have a stamina bar. I assume we'll be coming upon a second save point at some point shortly. Oh! Ooh, tricky! Yeah, come on, mates. Oh? Can I use feathers to pull enemies? Looks like I can. Oh, no, don't stand in that. Yeah, so even though I'm not using the feathers in combat, looks like it's still a good idea. To upgrade them. How long do they take to regenerate? Reasonable chunk of time. I told them I didn't know what's in the buckets, but they just kept asking, even requesting to speak with villagers who worked in the tent. My nephew actually worked in the tent, and he said that the buckets were filled with oddly shaped small creatures. But the circus folk are one of us, the tree blessed, so how could I possibly reveal their secrets? Weird little creepy statue thing. There's a really solid feeling of ambience, of atmosphere, of tone being set here. You know, everything is very orange, admittedly. Now, there's our second rest point. Beacon found. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.